running like marathon, really very quick. Anyway, that depends on what somebody has really set forward for this year. That will determine whether the year is really moving really so forward or too slow. That's, of course, we're all different, we all set aspirations differently, and definitely that means that will determine how hard you will be working. But of course, don't forget the markets are just about to open on the Zabu as you just dial *292 hash.
No data,
will be available
no
quite
problem.
lots of options. You can
Zabu
buy government bonds, securities, whatever of your choice that you feel like. And of course, life will be made much easier with just as little as 15,000 you get in shillings. The markets open at 8:15 and they close at exactly 3:15 p.m. That is East African time. That is Monday to Friday, except on the weekends when they don't really operate, and also the public holidays. That's something which doesn't really transpire. But Monday to Friday, the trading experience just made it much more easy. And at whatever part of the country you are, no more excuses for not buying shares in any company. It's being now made easier at any part of the country that you will be at. You could be in the north, you could be in the south, could be in the west, east. As long as you're in Uganda, Zabu is just right here for you. From Altec Securities, my money, my future. Do something new. Well, as we're heading straight into the business day, as we're here to drive your business, and of course we kickstart off this very hour as we get into our business update, the very first business update. And this time around is the discussion regarding the Indian Investment Summit. Let's go through this, and I'll be returning with just a brief analysis.
It's a community that is playing a very pivotal role in Uganda's industrialization agenda, and we're talking about personalities like Dr. Sudhir Pereira. We're talking about Meta. We're talking about Madvani. Some of them have been in Uganda for over 100 years and plus. And this time, the international community of Luana, because they're spread out in the world, and they chose to come and have an investment summit in Uganda. And this investment summit is intended to attract and encourage more of their community members to come and invest in Uganda. And there are key areas of interest for them, and which areas incidentally fits with our industrialization agenda, our interest in taking Uganda into middle income status and maintaining our status and even becoming a first world. These community members are largely Indians, and they're Indians from India, but if they tell you their story, and I don't want to distort their story, I will ask the chairman, and we have some Luana here, Mr. Dauda, who will tell you properly about their origin and about the formation of how they come together. But mine is to tell you that yes, they're having an international conference, and as government, we are giving them the full support of having this international conference. His Excellency Kaguta Museveni, you can add General, will be the chief guest on this day. That will be on the 20th, one day after they would have all come together and started the conference, and to run until 22nd. The areas of focus is going to be in agribusiness, agriculture and agribusiness. They will be looking at manufacturing. As you know, that we are focusing on value addition, and our 4 sectors of the growth of the economy being agribusiness, manufacturing, services. They're already in services, as you can see. If you just look, and I mentioned to you, Dr. Sudhir Pereira, you'll see that they're already into those sectors of economy of providing services and ICT, and I did mention to you the Madvani and among others who are already in manufacturing sector. So the major focus is to attract many more Luanas.
Indians, we are here 27,000 people, Indians in Uganda. We are contributing almost 60 to 65% every year revenue. And we are lent here, eat motoki and G-nuts, enjoy the wonderful peace of this country has to offer. To commemorate 100 years of Indian Association Uganda existence last year, we conducted a very successful Afro-Indian Summit with 800 guests and managed to bring $169.5 million to Uganda as an investment. Many of us Indian origins arrived in this country as a migrants. Those who came to build railway turned back to India, most of them. We did. Us who are here today are migrants. We made a deliberate choice to come and stay, especially for trade and business purposes.
Mr. Mohan Rawu, that is the chairperson of the Indian Association in Uganda, and of course discussing the possible contributions they have done exactly to Uganda when it comes to business, and also seeing how best have they been performing in the different sectors. For example, the information communication technology, others are into, that is the manufacturing sector, and quite a lot of more, many more of those sectors. Well, among those discussions we shall be coming up real quick. Now let's get straight to what's really making headlines into the print media. As always, I always have the new vision with me at the Daily Monitor to kickstart off your business. What's really happening? Well, now starting with the new vision, just on the top, we see the iron sheets and of course police summons. That is the ministers in there regarding that very aspect. Well, taking a look here, let's take a look deeper in here, and of course seeing other stories in here, seeing the 2023 best farmers competition has flagged off, for all the farmers out there. If you're really passionate about farming, you can really participate into this, maybe just a little bit here. We see that the 9th edition, that is of the best farmers competition, has been launched. That is with a call to farmers not to miss this edition, and of course because there is a lot definitely to benefit. Of course you may not really get the results like you really anticipate, but at the end of the day you will actually be in position to learn quite new things that are going to make your farming experience much more easy and much more better. And that is that's what it's really all about. It's not really just about saying that and feel like I need to win this. Well, you gotta go learn something new, and that is going to revolutionize your farming system and your farming style. Well, now taking a look here at President Museveni woo's Algerian investors and identifies that is 10 key areas that is of investment. Well, that is something quite of great interest to really check out for in the new vision. And of course, just a brief here, while addressing the team of investors under the council, that is for Algerian Economic, that is Renewal Council, that is Du Renouveau Economique Algérien. Yes, President Museveni urged Algerian investors, that is businessmen, to take advantage, that is of Uganda's that is profitability by building, of course, production facilities and making sure that they quite do a number of investments in Uganda. Quite a great cooperation in there, and I believe it would be something very positive for the country. Of course, regarding that story. Now, away from that, still taking a look at more here, we see teachers want school owners. That is out of ministry. Well, school owners being part of the ministry, are they using the powers not for the right? Probably they're using the positions in the ministry to offer, to employ dictatorial policies towards the schools. Probably that could be one of the reasons that why the teachers say that. And of course, a cross-section of teachers in Kampala has recommended that school proprietors, that proprietors of private schools should not be involved in formulating and implementing policies in education. Exactly, that's what I thought about. It could be one of the reasons. Authority, depending on how you use it. Well, some don't use it the right way, and the teachers are able to see this, and definitely they can survive this. Well, taking a look here, quite more interesting stories right here for you to really check out. As we take a look here at the Karamoja and Sheet saga, as criminal summons issued to ministers. Well, the police has issued criminal summons to the ministers cited in receiving that is relief, of course, that was meant for the vulnerable in Karamoja. Well, that is up here in the new vision, and of course getting to see what is happening in there. Well, of course, still here we see government to set up public servant saving fund. Well, that is something very remarkable. in here, as we see the government has tabled before the parliament, that is a no pension bill that we'll see, that is salaries of public servants deducted. Well, and of course, once this new bill is passed, until all that will be initiated, some funds will be sort of cut off. That is savings fund, public savings funds, that is for the public servants, a mandatory saving. Well, I know it's not really easy to save, to get your money and put it out there. Doesn't seem right, but unless somebody really does it deliberately for you, that could be the way out in here. So that's what we're seeing here, government to set up public servants saving fund. Well, of course, happening in there. And of course, still on the social stories, for those of you that are interested in the social aspect of life, of course, taking a look here at the missing bride resurfacing, of course, at the police station. Well, you want to know what really transpired? Check out the new vision for more of that. Well, still also here, we see the Electoral Commission relocates to pave way. That is for the flyover. Well, that is something so interesting. Now, the Electoral Commission yesterday officially handed over its headquarters. That is the headquarter premises to the Uganda National Roads Authority. That is to pave way for the ongoing Kampala flyover construction and the road upgrading. And of course, the road upgrading project. Well, that is quite heroic. That's a heroic act, giving up their offices. So, and of course, more of that will be developing up just right here. Okay. And of course, still looking at some very interesting aspects in here. And of course, seeing on the comment section, just right here, we see the editorial. And the editorial here see that, of course, there is the aspect of urging people to support President Museveni's move. That is in the iron sheets. In the iron sheets come, what is the president really going to say about this stuff? And of course, are you supporting him as a person? Well, that is more in here. And also taking a look here at father, that is on there is a gentleman, he's an educationist here, posing out the real challenges with artificial intelligence. AI, something which has really been ongoing globally, and of course becoming a potential threat to quite so many so many jobs. So many people are so scared about losing their jobs due to artificial intelligence. Well, it's exactly 17:07. And of course, still driving the business in here. Of course, taking a look at what's really making headlines. That is in the print media in here. And now, of course, taking a look here. Somebody tells you still in the comment section why we need dialogue on land and food security. Yeah, something you can really find out there. And also the power of cooperative synergy. I think that is something also to really check out there. The power of cooperative synergy. What does that really mean? What is the power involved in there? You gotta check that out. Of course, still driving in here, seeing what is happening in here. Of course, we see the section of the vocational guide, as we see 19 regional hubs that is offering free training. Well, for your child out there, of course, getting a special skill out there to survive in this world, it's becoming quite a tricky end every day, every other day. So if you have something a little bit different from any other person, well, that will be something that is very, very remarkable for you to explore. Now, there's about 19 regional offering free vocational training for the parents in there looking for what to give your child. Probably your child is home, they're not doing anything. Well, you can opt for that. Okay. Then also we see here what vocational institutions need in order that is to get accredited. For any person there, you have aspirations to start one, you gotta read this copy for you to know what are the requirements for you to be accredited, to be approved, in other words. All right, and of course quite a lot of all the possible technical institutes in here. And also still on the vocational side, looking at vocational scholarships up for grabs. Yeah, of course, giving some students what we call bursary scholarships. You go study, get the training for free for you to become somebody really inspirational in the country in the future in that. Okay, still on the new vision here, and of course the still part on the vocational aspect here, they tell you that you will get that skill in 6 months. 6 months you will be able to get something really that can revolutionize your life. Okay, Now, still further here on the Ssonko section here, still on the vocational guide. Of course, somebody tells you do not lie for your child's sake. You gotta be honest at some point in life. Probably there are repercussions that come in that way because you're trying to take a bullet for your child. Well, that could have some little bit of issues time to come away from that. Okay. Now, still here on the No Vision, we take a look at electricity cost stifles industrial sector. That is according to the officials in there. What does it say? Officials who went on a fact-finding, that is tour in Namibia, recently say the cost of electricity, the cost of electricity stifles Uganda's industrial sector. Probably, well, of course, the manufacturing industries largely depend on electricity. Sometimes irregularities within the sector, irregularities within the operations can really be very devastating. And that is when it comes to operational capabilities. Now, still looking up here, something on the PDM supplement section here on the No Vision. Taking a look at over 9,000, that is households to get parish revolving fund. Well, you'll find out that more. Of course, the parish development model is something that has been really all over and everybody really anticipating what is it really about, waiting for that money. With that, enthusiasm, they can't wait to receive it. That's the beauty of this. Well, now still further in here, we see the rains to continue for 3 months. That's according to the weather forecast. And of course, we've got to know what really transpired yesterday. Quite a very, very tragic morning. Okay, still looking further in here. Well, I guess I'll be done with the No Vision for now. And now let me cross over. That is to the Daily Monitor. And we take a look at what is really transpiring. And still in here, the very interesting heading. Well, at this very time, let's get straight with Jorum Paul Ssonko to give us what's really happening. And of course, on the traffic, of course, observing. It's very important for you to understand what is really what route to use. Good morning, Jorum.
All right, good morning, Barija Andrew. Many thanks for that particular update early as possible as we can get. It is the traffic updates here this morning, and we are rotating around the access road. That is, as you're linking from Chibuli, from Zambia, to those who are actually heading to Jinja Road. This is the roundabout at access road, so you can easily see the flow of traffic. Of course, the extension works of the Kampala flyover do contribute heavily to the reason as to why we do have lots of traffic here, but it's still a morning time. If I can quickly tell you, it is still 7 o'clock, so it is the rush hour for the business community within town and obviously outside of town. And the traffic updates pretty much for you to at least get to be able to see how the day is moving. Yesterday on Tuesday, there was a lot of the rain showers within the country, and one of which affected the flow of traffic. Late in the night, there was a lot of traffic jam. In the morning, from around 6 to around 8 a.m. And as of now, by the look of things, you can easily see that it is still a very cold morning, Wednesday morning. And when you look through here, you may be able to see that there is a free lane for those who are actually moving out of getting away from the access road, getting to the sides of Zambia and Chibuli. The lane is as free as you can see. It is only for those who are now going into the city or connecting to Jinja Road. But as of now, all you can easily see is that everyone is rushing to get to work. There are lots of pedestrians using foot. These are people coming in from industrial area, Namuongo, Muyenga, Bukasa, name the areas around Chibuli, Chisugu, and trying to beat the traffic in order to get to their different workplaces. But not only that though, as we continue to look through, you get to easily see that the others are actually using borders. So the border riders obviously continue to be very, very much so important at a time like this one. And stretching a little bit more, if you're to look at this, due to the fact that we have traffic lights here and there, you will be able to see and realize that the flow of traffic is pretty much ideally getting into a situation of, because people are rushing to work, so you get to, ideally, if I'm to say and put it right, it's a rush hour where you have to visually get to it. But also, if I'm to take you to this lane of to this side, that is for the people who are actually heading to Chibuli, Zambia. These are parents also that are taking their children or their students to the sides of Green Hill Academy areas. So this is a lane that is always busy, regardless of the time, if you're to look at that. So there's also traffic police officers who have been deployed in the same area, and stretching a little further more to the extension of the Kampala flyover, but then also that is stretching to the other side, which is heading to Namuongo, Chisugu, and name the areas. It's still that busy for the morning, and you can easily see why some of the vehicles are now being stopped today, or being stopped at this moment, is because they are trying to give some room for many of the vehicles. For some of you have actually been able to use at least this lane, and you're coming in from pretty much in Zambia, let's say Chibuli, and you're connecting downtown Kampala. These lanes are a little bit more fixed or tight. So it's very rare, or it's going to be very busy for you to use it. 3 lanes as of now for pretty much these particular vehicles who are actually heading to town, and they're actually stretching into the access road. And by the look of things, traffic jam is again heating up as of now, and definitely a lot more for anyone who is going to be heading to work at this time. There's a lot you should be able to at least visualize yourself, try to at least see how best you can move, and maybe pretty much, you know, try to consider which lane will look safer for you to use. The shortcuts don't seem to be like an answer this morning, because when you look at what is happening behind me, it is now becoming even more tight. So the traffic flow that tight. It's a Wednesday morning, cold one, and obviously it is a time for you to at least get ready to kickstart off your business day. You never know, anything can definitely happen, but on a day like this one, Wednesday, the week is suddenly coming to an end, but of course these are some of the things that clearly show you the aftermath of a rain shower within Kampala. And obviously, as you can definitely see, you will see some of the splashes. This was courtesy of what was happening yesterday. Now we're getting back to studio with Barija Andrew this morning to give you and drive you harder in business. More updates coming up, including Caribou, East Africa, and of course the latest from the SMB International News. Back to Andrew in studio at Nile Avenue, plot 42. It's a good morning from me. I'll be joining him later on in set at the hour of 8. Good morning.
Thank you, Jorum, for that update. And of course, just right there at the access road, and looking at quite lots of streets around that area. There is the 6th Street, the 7th Street, the 8th Street, and of course so many of those for those of people that are heading towards Chibuli, the industrial area and all that. I mean, quite lots of congestion. And of course, following the tragic rainy morning yesterday, it was quite really crazy. Well, of course, it's exactly 27 past 7 rather. And of course, still driving your business on SMB, the #1 breakfast channel that is around town. But of course, how is that made possible? Zabu just made it just much more easy. Star 292 hash, and of course, you will be able to buy government bonds and securities. No more excuses for not owning government bonds and company stocks. Well, you can do this at whatever part of the country that you will be at. Northwest, with as little as just 15,000 Ugandan shillings. And Zabu My Money My Future. The markets are open. That is Mondays to Friday. That is except on the weekends and also the public holidays when they don't really operate. But of course, on the rest of the days, you can be free to trade from 8:15 to 3:15 p.m. every day, Monday to Friday. You know, you have quite a big number of space. And of course, life will be made much more easy, no more hassle. And of course, there is quite that lots of fear, the bureaucracy and all that. Zabu just made it much more easy and friendly. It's my money, my future, no more hassle. And of course, let's go and buy company stocks together. Well, at this very time, let's get into a short commercial break. And of course, I'll be returning That is with what's happening in Karibu, in East Africa. Good morning, East Africa. Of course, that and more is coming up. And of course, still at the top of the hour, we shall be looking at the international business news, what's really happening in there. That and more, definitely, you gotta keep locked in here for those amazing updates. Let's get into a break. I'll be returning back.